am Mama, and the cafe is open. Now, I wasn't going to be on tonight. I hadn't planned to, but I started getting an ick, so I had to come and share it with y'all. Hey, Laura. Hey, Amy. Hey, Chris. It's so nice to have you all here. And also, it would be nice to give you a little bit of a hint about what to expect tomorrow in the Mamas meeting, the regular Thursday Mamas meeting. I am going to have to give Solly a show. He's so naughty. I just put the camera on him sleeping. It's very adorable because he snores as well. It's very cute. Not always, but when he does, it's so cute. Yes, thank you, Laura. It is Solly. Sol as in the sun. Who's Solly Bobbles, Solly Bobblobs, Mr. Sollington, you know, your pet owners. It gets ridiculous. So, my ick, my fear, my worry, my anxiety. I'm watching what's going on this week since the big announcement on Monday. You bomb our shit, we'll bomb your shit. Open up the Straits of Hormuz within 48 hours or all hell will break loose. Then we get the cessation of hostilities for 5 days. And yes, I am absolutely a fully paid up member of the "This is all market manipulation, isn't it?" club. Definitely. Without a shadow of a doubt. You just have to look and see what's been happening to the markets in response to every time he says something. Every time he opens that nasty fat mouth, the markets jump. And I'm a bit sick of it, to be honest. The reality never follows through with the rhetoric. So why are we all being affected by these artificial numbers on screens and the people who play with them? I've had enough of it, but there's nothing I can do about that. And the Serenity Prayer tells us to accept the things we cannot change, but there are things we can change, and we will be doing a special Mamas meeting tomorrow all about the things we can change, because on Saturday it's No Kings 3. That's 6, isn't it? 3. And I can't wait to hear what you're all planning, where you're planning, what resources are available to us if we want to do our own thing. Even in the UK, we are on it. Well, I am anyway. I don't know who else will be there. There were people there last time, the No Kings 2. So, and we've got a little bit more to moan about this time. So fingers crossed, it'll be a good turnout. But where's my ick coming from? What's my concern? What's my worries? Well, I was chatting with the girls beforehand, and I have to keep bringing it down to the fact that we're dealing with a demented, deranged individual who will do anything to keep himself in the news, even bad shit. He doesn't seem to understand that not all press is good press. But I genuinely think he will not want to let the No King's Day protests on Saturday, probably the biggest protests we've ever seen, go ahead with the full glare of the media. Now, there has been messaging going out to the Trump-aligned media networks that we're not to mention it, we're not to cover it. Shh. No Kings who? And I saw on something this week that Capitol staff have been told, do not mention it. No criticisms, no nothing. Just pretend it's not happening. Which is obviously, hey, Ed, welcome. Grab a beanbag, comfy chair, wrap yourself in a blanket. Milky drink or an adult beverage are usually the way we go on these evenings. But anyway, I'm waffling. So let's get to the point. Welcome all. Hope you're all comfortable. You know what we do here. This is the show where we drink too much Diet Coke, stay up way too late, and absolutely refuse to look the other bloody way. They're telling us, look over there, don't look here. Well, we're not gonna. We are looking at them. Right. So, Saturday, No Kings 3, hundreds of thousands of people getting ready to take to the streets across America. We're in the planning stages. I've started printing off my bits and pieces to make my googly eyed dictator poster, my no illegal wars, no war criminals poster, for me to take to my No Kings. And we'll be hearing all about other No Kings things that Substack members of this little community are doing. So you may find that there's somebody in your area. But if not, we will tell you how you can find details for your area. So do not worry. That's what we're going to do tomorrow. But today, I cannot shake this fear. While we're getting ready for No Kings, he's going to be planning too. And that's my concern. That a certain spray-tanned would-be monarch is going to plan something to detract from your First Amendment right to free speech. And I want to go into detail about what we think it might be, because I want to have the worst case scenario. When I used to have bad anxiety and depression, and I had different forms of counseling, I was going through dialectical behavioral therapy, which was amazing. And one of the best things I've ever done, and saved my life, because it just gave me tools for my life toolkit. And that's what I needed. Didn't need mothering, didn't need picking up, didn't need looking after. I just needed a few better tools to fix my own shit with. And that's what I got. And one of those tools, when you're terrified, when you're paralyzed about something, because the fear of what might happen is just so great, play the tape forward. Play it forward with all the worst case scenarios you can possibly think of, how you would react to those, what tools you might need, who you might need in your little army, and be ready. And then let it go. Because ain't no point being on a rocking chair here. It feels like you're working really hard, but you ain't actually getting anywhere. And if you're not getting anywhere, you could be using that energy more productively. So that's why I like to worry ahead of time. So that hopefully, but you know what it's like. You never think of the thing. And with Trump, I don't think any of us are ever guaranteed that we will think of the thing, because even when we think we've thought of all the things, he'll think of another thing that's just unthinkable. Yeah, that was spontaneous as well. I didn't even script that. So the thing that's been nagging me, the feeling, the ick in my tummy, if you will, is because of the No Kings, because they're this major democratic protest against Trump and everything he stands for, is nicely poised to dominate the news cycle. We need to be on the lookout for shiny, shiny objects, because there will be some. There has to be. He cannot let the focus be on thousands, hundreds and thousands of people around the world protesting against him and what he stands for, and his presidency and his regime and the war and all the terrible shit that he's doing to the poor American people. And mostly through the war, a little bit through tariffs as well, the shit that he's causing everybody around the world. You know, in India, They're queuing up to get gas in their cars, petrol, as we call it in the UK. Your poor farmers. Apparently, it's National Farmers Day or something, some Farmers Day tomorrow. So Trump's going off to see them. I just want him to explain to them why they can't afford um, diesel to go in their farm equipment. Because if they were struggling before with all the nonsense from the tariffs and bailing out Argentina and God knows what else, then I really dread the thought of how they must be coping right now. And I pray for everyone who's suffering because of this, not just us who are suffering economically. I pray for the 13 families who've had to bury their children, their loved ones, their parents since this war began. I pray for all the people who've been disrupted, especially in Iran, badly in Lebanon, and in the whole Gulf region. This is just the biggest catastrophe I've ever seen in my lifetime because it's all at the whim of a madman with somebody else pulling his strings. This isn't like COVID. I felt like there was something we could do with COVID, but I digress, as I tend to do. So, Trump has said this week that he has offered Iran a 15-point peace plan. Now, I would maybe be so bold as to suggest that my first thought was when we heard that Pakistan had actually delivered this 15-point peace plan, that, oh, so after he just came up with the number 15, he then had to go on and get 15 demands in his peace plan. Of course, not exactly 15, because 1, 2, and 3 were the same. So if he's going to go through it like that, you can probably do with just 5 and just, 1, 2, and 3, no nuclear weapons. 4, 5, and 6, open the Straits of Hormuz. You get the picture. I don't know what he's going to do at the weekend, but I want to go through where we are now, what might happen. But what I really want to get across to anybody who's listening now, watching now, or catching it by the recording is, even if the skies over Tehran are on fire this weekend, which they may well be, and don't forget, it's not just down to Donald Trump. There are other psychotic despots in action in this whole nonsense. We need to stay focused. We cannot do anything on Saturday to stop whatever it is he's doing on Saturday. What we can do is we can make ourselves noisy. We can get ourselves in good trouble. Not breaking the law, just being bloody noisy. Saturday is Saturday. The marches matter. Do not let them distract you with the shiny, shiny, however awful or allegedly wonderful it is, because, he got options. Hey, Bradley, welcome. Come in, get comfy. You might want to grab a stiff drink, but if it's late where you are, like it is in the UK, a nice warm milky drink will probably just do the trick. So let's start with the basics, the war, what's actually happening. Because with this much noise in the media, it's easy to lose the thread of what's actually going on. So, where did we start? 28th of February 2026, the United States and Israel launched a massive joint military assault on Iran. The Pentagon's calling it Operation Epstein Fury. Oh, I'm sorry, I've done it again. Epic fiasco. No, sorry. Oh, can't get this right, can I? Epic Fury. I mean, the name itself is so cartoonishly aggressive. I half expect it to come with its own trailer. The former Ayatollah Ayatollah Khamenei was killed on day one. His son Mojtaba was named a successor. There's all sorts of noise. Is he injured? Is he disfigured? Is he just fine and has got more sense than the other people who didn't get out of the way? We don't know. Because it's going to shock nobody to hear that Iran aren't necessarily the most honest brokers of the truth. And I don't think that's controversial, and I don't mean any disrespect to Iranian people. I mean, the regime have been a little economical with the actuality on occasions, and we just don't know what's happening. So, somebody's in charge, probably, maybe, but now we're in week 4 of the conflict, the incursion, the excursion, the war, the chaos. And the death toll stands at over 2,000 people across the Middle East, and that's more than 1,500 just in Iran. As I said, 13 American service personnel have been killed and nearly 300 wounded. Some of those walking wounded, back out to action after they've been patched up like the brave heroes that they all are. But some of them have been really badly injured, and we're not being told about them. The Strait of Hormuz. Well, we've all learned a bit of geography in the last month, which is great. Every day's a school day, and we love that. I can think of easier ways to teach us, but still, we now know that that little bit between Iran and Oman is the Strait of Hormuz. So that'll be great if we're booking a holiday in the region or what have you. And it's been widely reported that 20%, 1/5 of the world's oil supply passes through that narrow waterway. And to all intents and purposes, it's restricted by Iran. They're saying it's open, it's only blocked for the United States, Israel, and their counterparts. I don't know where we fit in that. I don't know. We say we're only providing defensive, as the UK, I mean, we're only providing defensive support. But how's Iran seeing it? Do they have like a scale? Well, this is defensive. That's okay. They're still neutral. This is defense. Oh, they're getting close to the point where we tip into offensive, and we're going to have to put them on the naughty list. We're just not in control. And that feels scary. It feels scary to me anyway, but then I may have control issues. I do, but that's fine. I'm dealing with them. So, because of this, global energy prices have skyrocketed. Places like the Philippines have declared national energy emergency. What did the Philippines do wrong? Why should they be suffering? Because somebody's got some Epstein files to bury. Or a number of other reasons. Maybe it's the nuclear weapons that they destroyed last year. Maybe they grew back. I don't know how these things work. You be the judge. Petrol prices here in the UK, we've talked about before, they've absolutely shot up. We just got to live with it, haven't we? I mean, what else can you do? Who do I write to complain to? Because, God's kind of busy at the moment. Oh, and sorry, I forgot the prayer yesterday. I did speak to God. God said that's fine. He had a lot on last night anyway, and so did all the other gods. So they're all really, really busy at the moment. So if we can manage our own shit just for a little bit, that'd be great. But they're there if we need them. Whichever God is your particular flavor. Or no God. Also perfectly acceptable. So, this is a war with real economic consequences and real human consequences. The US has so far conducted over 9,000 combat flights, striking IRGC headquarters, ballistic missile sites, missile defense systems, and military manufacturing. So Trump is actually not lying. I know that's not a sentence I thought I'd ever say either, but he's not actually lying when he says that the US have inflicted a huge amount of damage on Iran's war readiness or war machine. But I think we can all agree that while they're still dropping bombs on other people, they're not really neutered in the way that Mr. Trump would have us believe. And if they are, a neutered Iran is still pretty fucking scary because they still be killing people. Anyway, what more do we need? Well, the rest of us listening, we'd quite like a ceasefire, all pack up our toys and go home. Please, Mr. Trump, if it's not too much trouble, thank you, sir. Unfortunately, it's a lot easier to ramp it up, do the drama in the moment, and then gradually, when it's not quite so in your face, withdraw with your tail between your legs. Because it's gonna take some spin for Trump to come out anytime soon and say, "Yep, all done. We won. Regime change sorted. Nuclear weapons sorted. Ballistic missiles sorted. Human rights abuses sorted. It's all good. Let's all go home." Oh, and Straits of Hormuz, yeah, all sorted. We're gonna do that now. Who's gonna buy that shit? Well, we know 30% of Americans will, and I'm not ragging on you, America. We've got a bunch of the same flavor of idiots here as well. They're everywhere. So, of course, what might we do? Well, we've all seen that the right movements towards boots on the ground are being made. It's being touted as a bargaining position. We're not sending troops to Iran because we want our troops to be active in Iran. We're sending our troops to Iran to tell Iran that we could, if we wanted to, have boots on the ground. But of course, all the journalists want to know, and probably an awful lot of citizens and certainly military families want to know, is it coming to boots on the ground? Is that where we're heading? How soon are we heading there? Are we ready? Are we equipped? Have we got everything we need for boots on the ground? Are our boys and girls going to be safe? Don't expect those things to have been factored into any planning. And when I say planning, I mean that in its very general, loose sense of the word, not, like strategic military planning, because clearly none of that's going on. Not at the senior levels. No disrespect to the military, who I don't doubt are the most accomplished military in the world, but they're still led by a buffoon and his pet baby buffoon. So, a source of mine who is a seasoned journalist and well up on all things DC has a keen eye on the situation, both military and diplomatic. And I said, is that going to be this weekend's dead cat? Is he going to put boots on the ground to distract from No Kings? Is he that crazy? And he thinks not, which is reassuring because he is the only person who told me back in 2024, Trump's going to win this. I'm like, are you mad? Have you seen Kamala's rallies? Have you seen the 10 and a half people that turn up to Trump? Kamala's going to walk this. We are sorted. We're going to get our first woman president, and she's a woman of color, and it's just fantastic and progressive and inclusive and all the good things. He said, no. So maybe boots on the ground isn't the way we're going this weekend, but something's got to happen. He says, at the moment, as things stand, the troops are not ready for a full ground campaign. But discussing that with my girls and guys, is that something that would stop your commander in chief? Just, the fact that you're not ready, you haven't got what you need, and you're likely to fuck it up royally. Is that a concern? I mean, he's not going. His kids aren't going. But it would certainly take the headlines for a weekend. I mean, the military analysis backs up what my contact was saying. We don't have the numbers, you don't have the numbers at the moment to effectuate a successful ground campaign. But does that mean he won't do it? I wish I could say, of course it does, but we're living in a twilight zone where literally anything could happen. So what is happening? We've got around 1,000 soldiers from the 82nd Airborne deploying now, and reports suggest that that total could reach 3,000. In addition, the USS Tripoli is carrying the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, and they are just arriving in the region. Military analysts have been explicit. What's being assembled is consistent with discrete, time limited operations, not a sustained ground campaign. But, what do we need for a big, sparkly distraction? What's notably absent at this point are the heavy armored units, logistics depth, and the command structures required for a prolonged land conflict. For example, in 2003, the invasion of Iraq required around 180,000 troops, and Iraq's a quarter the size of Iran. So, yeah, that's a lot of boots on the ground. So, what could they be preparing for? Well, there are various scenarios on the table: raids, seizures of key terrain, and short duration missiles. I think was it Rubio? Somebody suggested, it may have been that idiot Johnson who suggested, how are we going to get the enriched uranium? Oh, we'll pop in and get it. So, there's that needs doing. They need to pop in and get the enriched uranium. So maybe that's what we're doing this weekend. But two specific targets keep coming up, and you will have seen them all weekend. We're all familiar with the Straits of Hormuz, and if the Iranian forces weren't covering their coastline, maybe that would free up the possibility for movement in and out of the straits. So obviously the coastline of the Straits of Hormuz is a potential target. And everybody's favorite island, we're all booking our summer holidays there this year, Karg Island, about 15 miles off the coast of mainland Iran. It handles roughly 90% of Iran's oil exports and is a key strategic target. So my initial ick was Karg Island, because I'm not a military strategist. You may not realize that, but honestly, no, I have many talents. I am jack of all trades, but master of absolutely none. And military strategy is one of those where I'm probably below average in my abilities. And I think the worry is well founded, not necessarily realistically going to happen, but as I say, the island's only 15 miles off the Iranian coast. It's far closer to Iran than any existing US base in the Gulf. Iran has been actively reinforcing it. They know that it's a target. They've been laying man pads. That's not a cool place where you guys crash. MANPAD, which are shoulder-fired surface-to-air missile systems. Gulf allies are urging the US behind the scenes, don't do it, don't do Karg. This is a bad idea. You're going to get slaughtered. They've warned of high casualties, Iranian retaliation, and not just against invading troops, but against allies in the region. They're saying, please don't do this. They're going to hit us. And we don't want to be hit again. Things aren't going well already. And we'd really rather you just stop poking Iran because they get cross with us when you poke them. This particular island is important because that's where a lot of their oil production is. But even if the US takes it, Iran can still export some oil through other means, and it can manage for quite a sustained period without full capacity. So, is it worth it? Would it be worth it to Trump? I don't know that that level of strategic inquiry is necessarily featuring in the decision-making process. "Oh, there's an island, we can have that," is probably more what's going on, is my fear. The White House, a source was pretty blunt about the timeline. "We need about a month to weaken the Iranians with more strikes. Then take the island, then get them by the balls and use it for negotiations." A month. Not this week, not this weekend. So maybe our holiday plans, our joint holiday to Carg Island is still on the cards at the moment. But watch this space because the Straits, the coastline of the Straits of Hormuz, that may be an even bigger priority because it's kind of in the way of getting to Carg Island, as we all know, because we all know our Gulf geography now far better than we ever thought we were going to need to. So there are some military analysts flagging that the coastline, the Iranian coastline of the Straits of Hormuz, is a higher priority because the USS Tripoli could theoretically launch an amphibious assault using hovercraft and armored vehicles with helicopter and air support, with which they could target IRGC fast boats and coastal positions. But the Tripoli has to navigate the straits to even reach Karg Island, and Iran has been mining the Straits of Hormuz. The US Navy, well, we talked about it in an earlier episode. Their demining vessels were decommissioned, and the new vessels in the area aren't equipped for demining, which is why Trump has been banging on to NATO, please, please come and get rid of the mines for us. We don't like them, which is fair enough. I don't blame him for that. I mean, for not liking mines, they're bad. They blow things up, people and boats and shit. But that's not how diplomacy works, honey. You don't do your big secret war and then say, please come help us fix it. And you don't call us chicken and yeller and all the rest of it and then say, but there's a way you can prove that you got big balls like me, because we just don't play that game, mate. Sorry, we're British. Ain't the way it works. So, not happening this weekend. It seems. The US don't have minesweepers at the moment, apparently. Apparently, the minesweepers were decommissioned, and the current naval fleet does not have minesweeping technology available to it. So, yeah, that's why they need us, and it makes sense. There's no way Trumpty's going to come begging the UK for help if he isn't absolutely desperate. Anywho, so the 15-point plan. What is it? Well, as Caroline Levitt told us all earlier at an absolutely infuriating press conference, it may not be what you think it is. because there are some fake 15-point plans floating around the media ecosphere. And so just because you've seen a 15-point plan that Iran say they haven't agreed to, it might not be the 15-point plan that Iran have agreed to, but we can't tell you who it was because they go to another school. So this is where we are. The United States sent Iran a 15-point ceasefire proposal delivered via Pakistan, as acting as intermediary. Trump went on television, as I'm sure you've all seen, because, never misses an opportunity. Not today, though. A little bit quiet today. It must be treatment day today, I guess. If he were ill or requiring treatment for any condition that requires putting a Venflon in the back of his hand. Just saying. Could be something else. Could be very busy with other important stuff. That's not the war, with the people dying and the whole world going to hell in a handcart. Could have other important stuff. He might have a dentist appointment. You don't know, do you? Sometimes you just don't want to rearrange those dentist appointments because you're never sure when you're going to get the next one, and you'll kick yourself if you get a toothache between now and then. So could be a dentist appointment or anything else, really. Who knows? So he was on television and he declared, I think that was yesterday or the day before, and I would have to agree with MJ. I think it's the dementia meds, and I would be very disappointed if I was in any kind of trial for those particular dementia meds, because I would have evidence in front of me that they ain't working. Yeah. But it could be anything. As I say, could be anything. Could be having hair plugs. Could be topping up his tan, Could be on those tanning beds, because apparently, little aside, Bobby Kennedy Jr. has now decided that they are no longer going to enact legislation stopping under 18s from using tanning beds. I shit you not. They've decided that parents should be the one to determine whether little Sally and Sammy are going to get skin cancer, or despite all the evidence of the risks of going on sunbeds under the age of 18, you parents with absolutely zero qualifications, zero experience, and zero knowledge in terms of how sunbeds affect young skin and the risks that can come from it, you choose. We know you'll make the right decision because you love your children and you wouldn't do anything to hurt your children. So that's all you need to know. You decide. If you think your kids look better with a tan, then you crack on. Oh, he's worse than incompetent, MJ. I have words, but I would probably get banned from every platform I've ever been on if I used them. I'm sure you all can fill in the gaps. You're quite good with that. So, where are we? The 15-point plan. Sorry, yes, went off onto a little RFK detour. So Trump, going back to the other idiot, he says that the negotiations are ongoing, and hence why the 5-day cessation of hostilities. Because, when you're negotiating with someone, you don't go bomb them. Say you were negotiating with, I don't know, let's pick a country at random, Iran, with, I don't know, let's pick another country at random, Oman acting as intermediary, and Oman, your guys in the trenches say the negotiations are going really, really, really well. You wouldn't go and drop bombs on them, would? I'm sorry, what? Oh, they did go and drop bombs on them. Oh, that's how we got here. Oh, okay. I apologize. No, as I said, I'm no military strategist. Apparently, you do drop bombs on people you're successfully negotiating with. So, By that logic, anything could happen this weekend. We could all be dead. But we might not be. And if we're not, we have to go bloody protest, all right? If I'm doing it in my frog costume over here in rainy London, you can all bloody do it as well, all right? You picked him, you sort him out. And I don't mean you specifically. I just mean, if you know people, encourage them that you did this. Now come and help us sort it out. I mean, that's what you say to them. I'm not saying that to you. You get me. You get me. So, what have they agreed to, not agreed to, might agree to, will never agree to? According to Trump, Iran has already agreed no nuclear weapon, not now, not never, honest governor. And that's fine because we can just believe them. So that's great. So that one, well, 1, 2, and 3 in the bag. So that's great. So you just have to worry about the other 12. Oh no, sorry. It says in my notes, Iran's military spokesman responded with, this is a quote, has the level of your internal discord reached the point where you are negotiating with yourselves? Ooh, burn, Iran. Sorry, I went a little bit childish there, but that was a bitch slap if ever I saw one. Their joint military command put it even more bluntly because, that wasn't bluntly enough. They didn't say, we be bitch slapping you. But they said, people like us can never get along with people like you. Not now, not ever. Okay, so there's room for compromise? There's not room for, okay, no. All right, okay, good. So God, imagine if the negotiations weren't going successfully. How would that look? Oh, dread to think. Iran's foreign minister has confirmed that they did indeed receive a plan, quickly scribbled down on the back of an envelope. 1, no nuclear weapons. 2, no nuclear weapons. 3, no nuclear weapons. Guys, we need another 12. I said it was a 15-point plan. Just write anything. Okay. So, disabled parking spaces throughout all the major cities. Oh, you don't care about that, do you? No. I was coming up with something nonsense, but I mean, even that would be too nonsensical for Mr. Trump. So, what else did the foreign minister say? He said that they are receiving messages through mediators, but that's not the same as negotiators actually being involved in talks. So just to make that clear, that's what the Iran foreign minister has said. Yes, we received the plan. No, we're not discussing it. Ain't nobody talking to nobody. We got your fag packet with the 12 points, 15 points, point 1, 2, and 3 all being the same on the back. And we're treating it with the respect that it deserves. I don't know what that might be. Not for me to judge, eh? Meanwhile, Iran state media, what are they saying? They called the proposal extremely maximalist and unreasonable. And that's a direct quote. They added brilliantly that it is not beautiful even on paper. And that's another direct quote. What do we think is in the 15-point plan? And don't forget, Caroline Levitt's warned us we shouldn't be believing what we hear in the news because there are some fake 15-point plans going around. But we think the smart money is on Iran committing to never pursuing nuclear weapons, dismantlement of the 3 nuclear sites currently in Iran, and an end to all uranium enrichment, suspension of ballistic missile work, cessation of support for proxy groups across the region, so Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas, reopening the Straits of Hormuz, a 1-month ceasefire during which terms would be finalized, and in exchange, Iran would get the lifting of nuclear-related sanctions. Sorry, what? Oh, Pissant already did that. Scott Pissant announced on television that he was already lifting. Interesting, interesting. Okay. What, even the nuclear ones? We don't know. Okay. Could be just other sanctions that, you know, are less important, except when it comes to getting in money to fund a war effort. But no, I'm not an economist either. And, Pissant looks like he knows nothing. What he's doing, sorry, I mean what he's doing. He must, I'm sure he, oh God, we're all fucked, aren't we? Anyway, what else? US assistance with Iran's civilian nuclear program and the International Atomic Energy Authority monitored civilian enrichment outside of Iran. So that's the deal, apparently. As I say, Caroline Levitt confirmed the plan exists, but she did say some reports were not entirely accurate. She declined the opportunity to specify which parts were correct and which parts are incorrect, because God forbid the American people know what's going on, and the rest of us. She also said, and I really love this, that Operation Epic Fury continues unabated. And I quote, even as Trump negotiates. Well, didn't he say they were holding fire for 5 days? Or are they just not bombing civilian targets and committing war crimes for 5 days? It's hard to keep up. Bombs and talks simultaneously, both of those things. Well, I mean, Pete Hegseth said, didn't he, in the Oval Office, we negotiate with bombs. Does he have a dictionary? Maybe not. Maybe not. No, and the bit that really boils my piss and may well annoy you too. Look at the list. Sanctions relief. Are we watching? Civilian nuclear assistance. IAEA monitoring. Limits on enrichment. Peaceful nuclear program. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound like something we've seen before at all? Maybe those exact things, except we maybe heard them in terms of the thing that had been agreed to and was working fine, because even the IAEA inspectors said there is no prospect of Iran having a nuclear weapon this side of Christmas. Well, they didn't actually put it that way, but yes. And do you know why it should ring a bell? Because in 2025, after 2 years of intensive negotiations, not 5 days, the Obama administration and its partners, the UK, France, Germany, China, Russia, and the EU, so, when we were all included in this very important stuff, concluded the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, the JCPA. JCPOA. Under that deal, Iran relinquished 97% of its enriched uranium stockpile and 70% of its centrifuges. Fuges or fuges? Fuges, centrifuges. Centrifugal centrifuges. I don't know. Hey, I did better than I thought I was going to do. It dismantled its plutonium reactor, which is quite a big deal. And it agreed to continuous IAEA inspection and monitoring. They were watching until somebody tore up that agreement. Ooh, I wonder who did that. They must be really stupid or really incompetent or really fucking insane or just a total asshole. Sorry? All those things. Interesting. Rhymes with grump. Okay. No, I won't say any more. We don't want to point the finger. It worked. Iran was compliant. We lifted sanctions. Iranian frozen assets were released. The IAEA were allowed in. The US certified compliance in April 2017 and again in July 2017. Nuclear experts from across the political spectrum, not red or blue, all colors of the rainbow, confirmed it was blocking both the uranium and plutonium pathways to a bomb. Iran's nuclear breakout time, i.e., the time it would take to produce enough fissile material for a weapon, was extended to over a year. Like I said, they're not going to have anything this side of Christmas. So when did it change? When did it suddenly become an imminent threat? What? It isn't an imminent threat? Oh, okay. We just don't know the answer to that. So what happened next? Well, in May 2018, a president of a country that rhymes with United Mates of Shamerica, he withdrew from the deal. He reimposed the devastating banking and oil sanctions. So that's good for the people of Iran, I expect. Sorry, it's not. Oh, it caused an awful lot of economic harm. Oh. This particular president, who will remain nameless, called the agreement horrible and a road to a nuclear weapon. Yeah, okay. A very, very long road to a very, very tiny nuclear weapon, but okay, got to be wary of these things. Multiple independent experts described that claim as false. Wow, I know. You're like, no, really? You mean he lied? I don't know. I don't know if he lied, if he was misled, if he got confused. Could be any of those things. I just bring you the receipts. It's for you to decide. So, what happened after that? Iran was no longer bound by the deal, so they began rebuilding their nuclear program. But because, of course, they did. It deployed advanced centrifuges, it stockpiled highly enriched uranium, and by late 2024, Iran had enough material for an estimated 5 to 6 bombs. Its nuclear breakout time had shrunk from over a year to 1 week, it is claimed. A week. So, why did it shrink? What did I say? Oh, okay. We're not pointing the finger. Not saying that just because a particular president tore up the deal, it basically incited Iran to go the other way. They were probably going to do it anyway. We don't know. We just don't know. We can only draw our own conclusions. Trump torched the deal. Oh, sorry. Oops. My bad. Somebody torched the deal. Iran rebuilt its program. Somebody then bombed the program last year and said it's all gone, everything's fine, that's great. And then offers Iran basically the same deal that he torched, just with a lot more rubble and dead bodies. Yeah. Not to mention the economic chaos and pain for us all, instability throughout the whole region, not to say the world, and fewer guarantees because, quite frankly, why on earth would Iran trust that the US will honour any agreement that it signs in the future? Somebody comes along and says, ooh, that's a horrible deal, and tears it up. Yeah, and we do all know who it was, MJ. Iran's negotiators were literally in Geneva on the 27th of February. And you're thinking, 27th of February, that does that ring a bell? Yeah, one day before the bombs were dropped. They were making progress on a nuclear framework. Trump authorized the strikes anyway. Tehran has very long memories. And to be fair, that's only a month ago. So, yeah, it's a lot, Amy. There's a lot of boots that could create a big enough spectacle to draw attention away from other things that might be going on this weekend. That's what scares me. We're not dealing with sane logic. So Amy pointed out in the chat, 2 Marine Expeditionary Units, which is around 5,000 troops, are already inbound or arriving. Combined with the 82nd Airborne, that's 7,000 approximately new boots added to the 50,000 thereabouts already in the region. That's what he's got to play with. And I used that without any hesitancy because he is playing with American lives. He's playing with all our lives, but in the front line, it's your sons and daughters, your heroes in the armed services. Sorry, I just needed a moment. It's big, isn't it? It's really big. I pray for everyone involved because that's all I can do right now. Oh, and work on my big placard for No Kings, obviously. Don't forget to work on yours. We'll have more information for you tomorrow. So, what are Iran's conditions? Because they've countered with 5 conditions of their own when they kind of stopped laughing at the fag packet list of 15/12, 13. They are a complete halt to all acts of aggression and assassinations from the US and Israel. Another factor which we barely even touched upon. Came from the India Times. No, please don't apologize, Amy. We love a fact here. This is what we're all about. Bring the facts, bring the receipts. If facts change, we need to change what we're saying because, why wouldn't you? Unless you were trying to cover something up, Mr. Trump. That's all I'm saying. Just asking the questions. No accusation intended. So, complete halt to all acts of aggression and assassinations from US and Israel, concrete and enforceable mechanisms guaranteeing the war cannot be reimposed on Iran, guaranteed payment of war damages and reparations. No, you're fine, Amy. It's fine. Mate, I am queen of derailing my own train of thought. So don't you try and claim credit for that, mate. I can do that quite easily by myself. Comprehensive end to the war on all fronts, including all resistance groups, which means no more picking on Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas, and anybody else beginning with H or not beginning with H, all covered by the ceasefire. And guaranteed Iranian sovereignty, easy for me to say, sovereignty over the Strait of Hormuz. So, what's that you say? That sounds like a much bigger ask than the deal that was already in place. Yes, it does, doesn't it? Doesn't it? Yes. It seems almost like in order to end this war that they started, the US are going to have to concede a lot more than they had before somebody tore it all up. Ooh, that doesn't sound very smart, does it? But what do I know? I'm not a politician. I'm not a military strategist. It just sounds fucking dumb. Okay. I'm sure Caroline Levitt or Lil Marco or MAGA Mike Johnson will be able to explain to me why I'm an idiot and it actually makes real sense to tear up a good deal and give away a load more shit just to get back to where you started from before you fucked it all up? I don't know. I don't know. As I say, not an expert. So, which of those do we think they will get? Well, almost certainly not full sovereignty over the straits. US will never concede that. Reparations will be a non-starter from Washington's perspective because they got no fucking money left. I added that. That's my opinion. But the demand for comprehensive ceasefire, including all proxy groups, is reasonable, um, and it gives them a legitimate negotiating starting position. Israel are not going to like it. I mean, they're having too much of a good time in Lebanon right now. And personally, for the record, I think what they're doing in Lebanon is disgusting. I think all terror organizations, including Hezbollah, are horrific and should be wiped off the face of the earth, but not at the expense of wiping innocent people off the face of the earth and completely disrupting their lives. So that's where I stand on Lebanon. Now, the guarantee against future attack, it's reasonable. And this is where they were in Geneva on the day the bombs dropped. Thank you, Amy. But will they get it? Iran's foreign minister put it plainly. Iran is not seeking war and wants a permanent end to the conflict. But they also said that they will end the war at a time of their own choosing, i.e., you ain't control of this anymore, Donny, only when the conditions that they've set are met. They're not going to fold under pressure, no matter how all caps Donny T types on Truth Social. History tells us that much, but not all of us are students of history or anything. Donny. I'm asking Donny because he might have an opinion, being the president and all. Not suggesting that he's got no intelligence, education, sense, knowledge, or expertise in any matter whatsoever other than grifting and lying. Because that would be quite defamatory, which is why I wouldn't suggest that. Others might. That's up to them. So, Saturday. Distraction or diplomacy? What's the smart money on? This is where it gets interesting. And obviously, by interesting, I mean suspicious. On Saturday, so Trump gave Iran a 48-hour ultimatum last Saturday to reopen the strait. Deadline passed Monday. Trump extended the deadline by 5 days, citing diplomatic progress. 5 days from Monday, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is Saturday. Oh, no, King's Day 3. Fancy that. Fancy them. And the markets are closed and all other worlds colliding in a serendipitous fashion and not planned or orchestrated whatsoever. So Trump now has a ready-made news event landing precisely on the day that hundreds of thousands of people are marching to tell him he is not a king. He can either announce a historic deal, which is possible, dominate the headlines with that, or he can escalate, launch fresh strikes, have cable news networks breathlessly covering explosions instead of crowds of peaceful protesters. Either way, the marches get buried. Either way, he wins the news cycle. We cannot allow it. Agreed? Good. And by we, I mean mostly you, because not a lot I can do from over here, but I'm going to fucking do it anyway. So, his menu for Saturday. We made a deal. Possible. Classic Trump. Doesn't matter if it's a real deal, doesn't matter if it's a durable deal. He just declares victory, claims he stopped nuclear war, takes a bow, no kings 3 becomes a footnote. Strike Iran's power grid. Well, that's a distinct possibility. 5-day window expires on Saturday. If talks collapse, in inverted commas, he launches. Spectacle guaranteed, screens full of explosions, no room for protest coverage because there are Americans dying. Announce boots on the ground. Well, it's an outsider. If you've got more money than sense, you might want to put a crafty bet on that one, on Polymarket probably. And I'm sure people will, but they're probably people with inside information. And I'm not suggesting how they might have that inside information or that there is insider trading going on within the Trump White House, just putting the talk out there. This is what's being said in some circles, but I have no idea because I'm not an expert on betting or rigging the markets either, if that's what was going on by anybody. So he will frame it as forcing Iran to the table. Like, we need to do this because Iran aren't willing to negotiate. The 82nd Airborne deployment gives him something tangible to point at. Look, our president is protecting you. Classic authoritarian playbook. Or the secret option number 4. And I don't know what that is. I pray to God he's got weekend plans or something, like normal weekend plans, like a big golf tournament or a kid's birthday party, something. Because he's always got one more trick up his sleeve, and trying to apply logic, hey Natasha, is a bit of a fool's errand when it comes to this particular version of the Trump administration. There are no grown-ups left in the building. There are no sensible voices prevailing. We are all fucked until we sort this out. And the first way to do that is to get out and protest on Saturday. I may have mentioned that. We'll come back to that. So, is it deliberate, this 5-day grace period? Probably. But, you can't rule out incompetence and sheer luck from Teflon Don. It doesn't matter. The effect's the same either way. So what we have to hold on to, what we have to remember is this, in my humble opinion. The war in Iran was already happening before Trump set this deadline. The 15-point plan, or whatever, was already being worked on. The troops were already being deployed. They were already sending out bodies to the region. None of this is new. None of this changes what Saturday's about. Got it? Good. So, I get it. When there's a war, it's really hard to focus on anything else. That's what they are banking on. The images are so visceral. The death toll is horrendous, and you can't hardly comprehend it. The economic consequences are landing on us all, even this side of the pond. Petrol's more expensive, energy bills are going up, and with the cost of diesel rising, everything that's transported will become more expensive. It feels enormous because it is. But this is what I need you to remember, please. Trump did not stumble into this war by accident. His administration bombed Iran while negotiations were literally in progress. He killed a deal that was working, rebuilt the very threat he claimed to be preventing, and then went to war anyway. The chaos is not a bug in the system. The chaos is a feature. Chaos is how authoritarian power consolidates itself. You can't fight on every front simultaneously. And he knows that, as in we can't. No King's movement is not separate from the Iran war, and so many more people will be joining to protest the war, in addition to all the other stuff that we were going out to protest in the first place for. The same administration that's now dropping bombs and deploying paratroopers is the one trying to dismantle democratic oversight, stack the courts, silence the press, and position one man as above accountability. And they're doing a good job so far. We have to be the fly in the ointment. These things are connected. They are always connected. So what do? We watch the Iran situation carefully. We keep the receipts. And we know Glenn Kirshner is keeping those receipts for the American Accountability Project when all this is over. And I am so here for that. Any help he needs, just somebody ring me and I'm on my way. We call out the distraction tactics when we see them. We hold space for both truths, that a war is happening and is horrendous and shouldn't be happening, and that Saturday matters. Both things are true. We don't let the noise drown out the signal. Because here's the thing about No Kings 3, it is not just a protest, it's a statement of intent. It's hundreds of thousands of people all around the country and the world saying, "We see what you're doing. We are not distracted. We are not going away. You are not gaslighting us into thinking war is peace and down is up. You do not get to rule by spectacle." If you're in the US, march. If you're here in the UK, march, especially if you're near London. We've got our own one going on here. If you're in any other country and there's a march going on, march. If there isn't, start your own, even if it's just you and your next door neighbor. March down the street with a little placard. Get the message out across social media. Help in any way you can. We can take back control, but we have to take it back. They aren't ever going to give it to us. Wherever you are in the world, pay attention, get active. What happens in America reverberates everywhere. I am not just doing this because I'm a genuinely nice person with American friends who gives a shit. I could see from day one, he was going to hurt us all. We know that. We feel it. It's not an American problem. It's an all of us problem. The bombs may fall on Saturday. The news crawl may be full of Iran. Trump may be standing in front of cameras taking credit for something or other, blaming somebody, declaring something else. And at the same moment, we will be in the streets, showing up, refusing to look the other way, and not letting them look the other way either. We will not be distracted. We will be in their faces. That's what we can do. As always, do your own research. The receipts from my show tonight will be posted for the paid subscribers, because if you're going to give me a bit of money, I ought to give you a little bit of something in return. And that's fair. And I don't mind in the slightest. So if you want the show notes and the receipts, the paid subscription, that will go out to you. What else? Look after yourselves. Please look after yourselves. It's a lot. I know it's a lot, but look after yourselves, look after each other. Be there. Even if you're just a voice to cheer somebody else on, be that voice. If this was useful, if you think I made some good points, then you can share it. We don't mind that. Tell your friends. Anyone who's not subscribed, you'd be very welcome. We accept all here. We don't judge. We don't discriminate. The merch shop will be open soon with the Midnight Cafe merch. We've got a mug so far, but I intend to create more once we've got this weekend. You've got to get your priorities. Can't do everything all the time. This week, the priority is No Kings. Then we can worry about merch, but I'll let you all know about that. And don't forget tomorrow, when we will be back here with the mamas meeting with anyone I can find who is doing something for No Kings that you might be interested in, that might be helpful to you, and with the where to go to find out what you need to know if we haven't already told you. Okay, so come back here for more information about No Kings, same time tomorrow. And with that, my lovely darlings, the witching hour has passed. Do I have a closing? I don't, Laura. I need a prayer, don't I? I am woman and I can, and I roar, and I'm a mama bear, and I'm all these good things. Oh, anybody got a prayer? Oh, no, I did. I had a poem in mind, but I forgot to find it. And it's beautiful. It's not new. It's not groundbreaking. It's not something that will be new to anybody, but it just feels right in the moment. And it's an old poem, and it's by Rudyard Kipling. And, Oh, invite Laura on. Laura might have something even better for us. Let's add Laura. Because I am not precious here. So we're just going to get Laura up to close us and see us out. Oh, I got a little bit energetic today, didn't I?
I look a
There's
fright.
Laura.
I've been working on things, so you'll have to forgive my looks, but I do have something I wanted to share.
Oh, yeah, let's. We can have my poem tomorrow.
Um, this is a poem by Mary Oliver, um, and I would say it. You know, if you're struggling with life in general, or as we all are, I think right now, this to me just really hits home. Okay, so this is Mary Oliver, the Journey by Mary Oliver.
Thank you.
Let's see. One day you finally knew what you had to do and began, though the voices around you kept shouting their bad advice, though the whole house began to tremble, and you felt the old tug at your ankles. Mend my life, each voice cried, but you didn't stop. You knew what you had to do, though the wind pried with its stiff fingers at the very foundations. Though their melancholy was terrible, it was already late enough, and a wild night, and the road full of fallen branches and stones. But little, I gotta get a drink, I'm sorry. But little by little, as you left their voices behind, the stars began to burn through the sheets of clouds, and there was a new voice, which you slowly recognized as your own, that kept you company as you strode deeper and deeper into the world, determined to do the only thing you could do, determined to save the only life you could save. And that, I love that poem.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's go save some lives.
Let's go save our life. If each one of us just is determined to save our own life, the world will save itself.
Absolutely.
Don't you think?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
Thanks for letting
And
me share that.
oh, no, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us.
Mm.
And MJ, I will get back to you with an answer to your question because that's not good, and I will find out the answer. So
What did
just
MJ ask?
why did I message her? Fuck you. 'Cause
MJ?
I would like to know why I did
No, no,
that
no, no.
too.
I messaged. I put a message up, and now I can't get to it.
It's
That
fine.
said, you were talking about what we were going to tell Trump, and I put up something about, and we're going to tell him, "Fuck you."
We are, but I think maybe MJ's got because we've direct messages, but I'll find
Oh,
out.
did you
I
tell
have
him "fuck
no
you" or
in this
him
moment.
her?
I've absolutely no idea,
I
MJ, and
hope
if
you
I
didn't
did
tell
that,
MJ to fuck off.
I'm mortified. No, I've got no reason to want you to fuck off, and I would really like it if you didn't. So
Why did you message
let me
me
find out
"fuck
what the
you"?
hell
Oh
happened
God,
there.
goodness.
All right,
MJ
everybody.
is familiar with Mary Oliver.
Thank you, Laura.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
everybody. It's way past my bedtime and I'm very due to turn into a pumpkin any minute. And I don't want to do that because Glenn's coming up in about 10. So go empty your bladders, do what you got to do, and we'll see you back over there. I won't, obviously, because I still can't log on to Glenn's lives, but my good friends will find me a sneaky backdoor in. And I will see you all back here tomorrow. But with
MJ,
that,
you did not piss her off, I promise.
never, never,
Mm-mm,
never,
no,
MJ. And I
no
wouldn't tell
way.
you to fuck off anyway,
She's
even
not
if you did.
pissable, I don't think.
We'll sort it. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Laura.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
everyone.
Thanks,
The
guys.
cafe is now closed.
Closed.